Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hedin, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in sunny Mesa, Arizona. I've got Markus with me this week, and we will let him introduce himself in just a minute. I want everybody to remember to learn while they earn. Go ahead, turn this podcast on, put on the YouTube, whatever you're doing, tune into the lives on the Facebook group, and make sure you are getting some education while you're working, right? We're laying floors, we're setting tiles, we're doing monotonous tasks. So if you can catch 10% of educating of some kind of educational material while you're working, you are putting yourself 10% ahead of everybody else in this industry that is doing zero. So I want to encourage you to learn while you earn once again. Go ahead, if you're struggling with your numbers, check out the flooracademypod.com. Go to the files section, get that business budget calculator. That thing can change your life and let you know how you want to run your company, what it's actually going to cost you. And I want to thank the International Surface Event for being a sponsor of the podcast. We will talk about them a little bit later in the show. Markus, who are you?
Yes.
What do you do? Why do you do it? And then we'll dig into it deeper from there.
I'm just the guy behind the curtain, right? And like everybody knows me as Blanky. Yeah, the Blanky guy, Blanky Cares guy, right? But that's much more. I mean, I'm a German master tie setter, came over to the States and working my ass off. So, technically, right?
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. Plus, right now I'm working for this company, Blanky Corporation, and I'm the technical account manager for the whole United States, and traveling around and making sure people getting the help what they need for.
Okay. So this master tile setter thing,
Yes,
trades in Europe are not like trades in the United States. And I'm sure when you came here, you found out very quickly that it was two different worlds. So let's get into that a little bit. Tell me about what it was like becoming a master tile setter in Germany.
It was hard work. Let me tell you this. Technically, after I got everything done, I burned the books because I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. I mean, you're laughing. I mean, it's like, yeah, to become a master tie setter in Germany is you have to, even a regular tie setter, you have to go to a lot of schooling and work, and it's like how you say transition between work and school. Mm-hmm. So you have to first find a company who's actually taken your apprenticeship. So you learn, you have to learn like 3 years between like modules, school, the company you work for, and it's like something, how you can say it, it's like a warehouse. There's some bunch of people in there, and there are all the teachers in there, and they're teaching you like in modules. Mm-hmm. So you learn technically from stucco, from a little bit masonry, a little bit carpentry. So you learn a little bit about that before you're going to get into tie setting. So it's like a week this, a week this. So then after that, you get in tie setting, mud bed only. Okay. So you learn setting tile and mud on the floor, setting tile and the mud bed on the wall, mixing it, taking it, and setting it. And that's 3 years. After 3 years, in the 3 years, you have 2 tests. One test, 1.5 year. If you pass it, you continue. After you continue, it's the same thing. 1.5 year. Mm-hmm. On the end, you got your test certification. If you got it done, it's like by the CTIF. You build one thing, and they looking at you. They're checking every part. If you pass this, you become your apprenticeship. You like your tie setter, okay? So you can work for a company. So, but you're not allowed to run your business. So you're just a tie setter where you can start working for a company. But if you want to run your company, you have to go another 3.5 years to become a master tie setter. But in this 3.5 years, is again, you're learning about bookkeeping, you're learning about, it's again, advanced classes and all that. of course, a lot of mud bed and sculpturing and stairs and everything in mud bed. So yeah, I mean, after 3.5 years, 3 years, depends how good you are and fast you are, you become your certification as a master tile setter. So it's like master tile setter in tile installation, mosaic, and granite installation, and fireplace building, because you learn all that. And then, yeah, you can actually run your business.
Wow. Okay, so it's like becoming a doctor. You got there's a lot of schooling in there. And
yeah,
so
exactly.
I may have missed this, and you said it. Is it kind of like how the union does it here, and you kind of work all day and then you do school at night? Or is it that you just go to this, like somebody has to say, like, they're going to come work for me, and they put you through school and then you end up working for them?
It's actually so that you go for 2 weeks, for example, in the school, only to school 2 weeks. In this 2 weeks, you learn everything. And this, after 2 weeks, you go 2 weeks at construction site.
Okay.
After construction site, you go to this, we name it in Germany, Bauhof. It's actually big warehouse with a lot of modules. And from there, you setting tile every day, 2 weeks straight. So it's all the time 2 weeks, or now maybe they changed it, but it was always 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks. Okay. So you got this all done.
So 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Like you're 2 weeks with with the company working in an actual like on-site thing, and then you're 2 weeks in school. Okay.
Exactly, and then you get paid for it by the company. I mean, okay, but if you want to be a master tile setter, you have to pay like $50,000 for your school and for everything. Yeah, actually, you pay for everything, and yeah, it's not that easy. And after you got it done, trust me, you want to burn the books. You don't want to deal with that anymore.
I believe it. I really do. And I think that's people in Europe don't look like Americans look down on trades. I think a lot of times, right? Like you're blue collar and you're kind of less than because you're not a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or something like that. And that's not how the trades are looked at in Europe, right? Like it's a very respectable way to make a living.
I mean, yes, yein. I mean, there's some moments, of course, right? To my time, I can say to my time, if you say you're on construction site, ooh, okay, someone who makes a little bit more money and all that. But no, it's like, yeah, you get a recognition a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. If you're a master tile setter and you run your business, you get a better recognition. Yes. Okay. But like I said, it's a lot of hard work and, you know, remember, like in the days, you had to carry all the mud and everything up, right? So, yeah.
So, knowing that you had to go to this school to become a master tile setter, and they're teaching you about bookkeeping and accounting and taking care of finances and stuff, the problems that you see, you know, like Floor Academy dealing with, or just like the questions that you see in these online groups in general about how much do I charge and what do I do over here and how do I run my business like this? Were those problems existing in Germany because they were already giving you that education, or is it to a lesser level and people are more openly talking about those things?
I would say a lesser level because you got teach in school how everything runs, right? But it's again, I've seen this in the groups and everybody asking like how much are charging for this and how much are charging for that. I mean, it's like what you are worth for, okay? What is your time worth? Because it's again, how we got taught by the teachers in Germany. It's like, listen, time is valuable. You only have one life. You have only this time on earth. This is actually when you're on your knees for a customer and you do in his bathroom, there should be paid for. It's not like for free, right? Because if the time is up, what are you going to have? And you have only one set of knees. So
I agree. Someone's got to pay for me being broken down the road, and it's not going to be me.
Of course, sure. Of course, right.
So you got somebody else to sponsor you and go through all of this, and then you worked for them, and then as you became a master tile setter, you worked with your dad, or did you become a master tile setter and then go back to working with dad?
I started laying tile when I was actually like 11, 12 years old, 10 years in the, you know, and my father showed me, and I learned everything from him a little bit here and there. My family, it's in Germany, and they have the family business. And yeah, I mean, my father told me, it's like, hey, you maybe should go in something else instead of working on your knees and everything. But I was just impressed. I mean, everybody knew him in the city, and they're like, you know what? Rudy's, right? My business name is actually, the company I run is Rudy Style and Design. Why Rudy? It's pretty simple, because my father's name was Rudy, and everybody remembers him. And it was like kind of being proud, okay? And everybody came was like, oh yeah, I know Rudy. He did this floor, he did this bathroom, and you like, yeah, I'm the son, right? I did this all with him, right? It was something where you actually could be proud of, and that actually took me away from the computer, and I started actually working with them.
And I mean that's kind of the direction we're going to take this conversation. So your dad had built something where he was really well known and respected in the community, and you picked up on that at a young age, and like you were able to be proud through just being associated with him. Like, oh wow, look, my dad, like he's a big deal. Like people know him and they respect what he does, and they enjoy the things that he's crafted.
Yeah, I mean, I came from a good corner. It's like, because we were actually, where I came from was Iserlohn, and I had major companies around me where I actually worked with them since I was a kid. So I know everybody almost from the people there, because you day in, day out, you meet all the people, the sales reps and people coming through the company. Like, I don't know if I can name him. It's like, Ardix, Weedy, Schluter, Blanky. I mean, you see them, right? And you actually work with them also every day. And it's like, that's where you make your relationships also, You meet them, you talk with them, and also other stories, but we can talk about that later. But and like I said, I mean, if you are in the straight and you starting when you are young and you're working, it's like, being part of something where you can be proud of. It's like, I seen it always as a piece of art. When we go into the bathroom to a customer house, it could be the worst bathroom, but the face, and this was always the most important value for me. After we got the job done, the customer's face, the smile in the face, and they're like, wow, you did something. That's was more worth than money for me. You brought them a kind of piece of joy in their life. Yeah. Where like, wow, and this with my both hands, right?
No, I that's the way I try and sell it is, everyone, young kids don't want to work. And I'm like, dude, how could you not want to come do this, man? I can walk in someone's house and I rip out their carpet and they thank me for destroying their house and throwing away their carpet. And then I start laying the floor and they say, oh my gosh, it looks so good. And then you put up their baseboards and they're complimenting you again. Like, there's instant gratification the whole time. And they thank you for making a mess in their house. Like, not that I'm leaving the mess, but right. Like you walk in and you get paid to destroy somebody's house and then make it pretty again. And they thank you the entire time. It's really rewarding.
Exactly. It's like we come in there to destroy things, right? It's kind of anger management. I mean, when I met persons in my life before, like the persons I was with, they're like, why you are so calm? It's like, listen, if you work in construction and you go every day and you have the chance to demo someone's bathroom, it keeps you calm, all the stress is gone. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a pleasure.
So, Dad had built your dad Rudy built a way to be recognized, but in our previous conversation we were kind of discussing this, setting it all up. It came down to he really taught you to just treat people right, and he took care of people. So what was it that set that up for you and demonstrated that like moral structure or the value in treating people right, and you really picked up on it? What was your dad doing for employees, for clients, for other businesses that he worked with and had relationships with that made this stand out to you of like, I need to treat people right?
The difference I seen, because I had the inside of different companies I worked with, because my father was always like, hey, I could teach you and I can school you and I help you with the master degree and everything. You can work for me. But it was like, you go first by someone else and you learn. After that, you can come to me and I can help you. For him was nothing is for free in life. Okay, that was the first rule. Second rule, because he came from Poland, he moved over to Germany when he was like a kid, and he started everything there too, from ground up. And it was not easy, but it's again, he was like, his rules were pretty simple. It's like, treat the customer first. I mean, treat him good, like how you would like to be treated. It's like, when you come into a customer's house, make sure it's always clean when you leave. Respect their property. Okay. I know there's some people out there that will test you, that will put some money out, jewelry or something like that, because they want to test you. It's like, I mean, he says this makes no sense. To take maybe $1 or $10 or something like that, and you're going to cut the arm off, right? Because you're going to lose the customer and everything. And he said, be proud of what you do. And an honest soul makes it farther. And this way I learned it. I mean, it's like, you have to do not everything for the customer, but you treat him with respect.
Okay.
Like, if this would be your own house, okay, you try to make it this end result, this end project, you want to be ending up that it would look like your own bathroom, for example, right?
I think I had a conversation with Bill Parker in that interview. I screwed up the audio on. We're going to re-record that. But one of the things he was pointing out was he lives by the motto of, if you question it, then you got to redo it. Like, don't even come, like, even for his employees, he was telling them, like, if you got to come to me and ask me, like, should I redo this? Then you already know the answer. Like, just go redo it. And I think a lot of times maybe people aren't living by that, right? They're, it's close enough. Like, no, if you got to question it, like, take it, pull that out and redo it. Like, that's you saying that you're not living up to your standards, I think.
Of course. Plus, also do always your best. No, but what Bill said is true. I mean, my father said the same thing. If you see something and there's, for example, one tile you don't like, take it out and replace it. I said, for example, it was the first years, right? I said, why? They don't see it. And the first thing what he told me is like, okay, but I see it. You see it. They will see it. They will point it out. And he was right. So I did it all the time. I gave my best and treat the customer right. And that's how I became successful up here.
So let's dig into that. So you moved from, were you running your own company in Germany, or did you just work for your dad, or did you start building up a company there?
My father ran the company, and after he passed, I took over, and was big shoes to fill, and ran it. Was great. Everything was good. But again, I got after a couple of years, I got an opportunity to come to the United States, and I seen it as a challenge because, again, he built everything up there, and he made himself. And everybody who seen him, they were like, okay, this is Rudy. Rudy did it. So I was like, you know what? That would be an amazing challenge. So I had the opportunity to come up here, what I did. And I said, you know what? I start from scratch like he did. He came to Germany. He started from scratch. He had nothing. And the same what I did. I was working, drove with the train, drove with the bus, had my cooler, had my backpack with my tools. But for my first, what was the blue tools? Ryobi, I believe, right? So, I mean, they were one of my first tools because you had all the tools in Germany, but they were 220 volt, so you couldn't use them. So I sold them, and then no car, no nothing. You're working here in Chicago winters, and I mean, I worked myself up,
So, did you close your dad's business in Germany, or did someone else take it over?
No. It's still by company, by my family run. So, okay. I mean, my uncle and all that, yeah.
Okay. So you came here, you moved to Chicago, and did you didn't start a company right off. I'm assuming you were working for somebody and you were an employee or a subcontractor or whatever, and just hustling to get money and then start building a name?
I was actually working for, I was found on a construction site because I worked for a friend of a friend. I did his bathroom in the meantime when I was here, and this person actually gave me the chance, and I'm really thankful for the person because without them I would be not here. And he was actually a person who had a family member who was a big deal, And this big deal person, he was really picky. He was one in the industry, guys. I don't want to name him because, but he was, I mean, the people who worked for them, he says, if you make it by him, you will be on top. And I never knew that this is this person. I worked for him. I worked at his showrooms. I did his showrooms. I did his in his warehouse. I did the bathrooms for the employees. I worked nights and days. I mean, I did everything what needs to be possible, because you make your earning, you make your money. They were so impressed that, I got actually a lot of benefits of it because of my work, my quality. And people were like, wow, you worked for this person? I say, yeah. Okay, then congratulations. Your work is amazing. I don't even have to ask. And this was the biggest resume. So, and then working for my own, I mean, I was pretty lucky, and still I am. So,
that's you got to be nuts to start your own business, but you're right, it requires a lot of luck too. And relationships matter, and you happen to stumble into something, right, that made it happen. But I don't think that would have happened had you not built relationships in Germany, right? Like, was some of this carried out, like the relationships that you're able to build in Germany helped you here?
Not actually.
No?
I mean,
Okay.
when I came from Germany over here, there was like, okay, they know this is a master craftsmanship, and they know you're a tie setter, but they're throwing you here in the water and say, okay, now swim, right? We want to see what you do. I mean, I was in Chicago in one of the biggest skyscrapers, and I was working there and doing bathrooms. We're like, okay, $8.50 an hour, and I mean, I worked with a lot of different people, and I learned from them. Also because the different mentality. And my English was not that good. Okay, I had British English where I learned in Germany, but then you learn all the other words, or you learn a lot of more, right? A lot of more stuff here. And my Bible, right? The Home Depot Bible, where you find all the 1, 2, 3, all the words in that, like, hey, bathtub and all that. You had no idea what's the name, how you name a bathtub. So, I mean, it was hard work. It was really sweat and long nights. But on the end, if somebody would ask me if I would do it again and move up here, I would do it again, because it's. I feel home. I feel I belong here. So it's a kind of a different feeling. It's much easier life for me.
I spent 12 years in Chicago, like Bloomingdale, Glendale Heights area. So my mom moved me out there. Not for me being an Arizona native, but the thing that I think I miss is I find people in Chicago are really honest. Like, they're just blunt and straightforward with you. Like, if they think you're a POS, like, they're just going to tell you to your face, like, hey man, you're kind of a POS. And that rubbed off on me, and now me being back in Arizona, like, that bluntness does not translate well here. Like, it's just, that's not how people are. That's not the way the culture is, and it's a little bit more like laid back, and people candy coat things, and I'm like, it's interesting to, like, even within the United States, right? Like, there's all these little tiny individual mini subcultures, and so you become a part of them, and that's that part. I get feeling kind of at home. Like, it's a nice city. It has a lot of culture to it. It's got some history. People are generally you get Midwest nice, I guess, is the saying. But it's. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity there. It's a good city, I think, to be kind of like, if you had to be plopped down somewhere, there's a lot of opportunity to be found. Whereas, you could move to like middle of nowhere, Missouri, and be in a farmland, and there's not as much opportunity. So I think from that perspective, that's a good place to kind of end up and start trying to build something in America.
A hard place. I mean, like you mentioned before, people say what they think, and it's like, I mean, I worked with, like I mentioned before, with people that were like above me, and on the end, they ended up working for me. And it's like, okay, but I don't treat them like they're like, hey, now you my worker. We like, how you learn in Germany. It's like from your family. My workers, they were like friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they worked with me, and the same like with my parents. I mean, we had employees. It was like Friday, Friday. My mom made some lunch, we made some dinner, and we were all sitting on this one small table all together, and we ate together, we drank together. It's like family style. The same like here. I mean, I took my guys, for example, to trade show coverings. I said, hey, you know what? We work Thursday late. Monday is coverings. You know what? Let's jump in the van and let's drive down to Vegas and let's have a great time. I mean, yeah, I paid for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, they were good to me. Why not, right? So we went to Vegas. We did some shooting, driving, or whatever we did. But they came with me to the trade show. I don't said you have to, but yeah, they came. And we had a great time. And it's treating people right and honest. That's the biggest thing. And I see right now is harder and harder with people finding good workers.
Mm-hmm.
But how does this by yourself? But it's not impossible.
No, it's not. But I think that the key was you said you wanted to treat them fairly. So you presented your employees with the opportunity to go to a national trade show and say, hey, I'll pay for it. Hop in the van. I got your hotel. I got your food. I'll buy you drinks and we'll get you some education. Like, I want to invest in you because I care about you. And that's what I don't see. And I think that's where I really want to talk with you and how you've invested in your employees to be successful, because I think that's why we have a bunch of disgruntled employees, is people are looking to pay the lowest amount they can. The fact that a lot of guys and gals are paid 1099 when they should be an employee and be having taxes paid and all of this. Employee misclassification runs rampant in the construction industry, but then no one wants to teach them everything. Your father was willing to teach you everything, but he wanted you to go learn it from somebody else, which I respect. And I think that's great. Like, hey, go learn it from, get story A and then get story B, and you can combine them and you get to create your own story. Right.
Exactly. You can see both sides, right?
Yes. But you found someone willing to invest in you. They had to put up money and pay for you to go to this school. Well, you were still working for them, but they paid you 2 weeks out of every month to go to this school, and they weren't getting a darn thing out of you for those 2 weeks. So people here complain about having to pay a guy $15, $20 an hour, and I'm not getting anything. This guy was paying you money, and you were sitting at school. Like, you were learning, but like he wasn't getting production on a job site, but he was investing in you. And I think you probably realized that and valued that. And so maybe that's what's missing, is that we're not communicating as tradespeople that we're investing in these young minds that are coming to us looking for a job, that they're learning something that can't be taken away from them. So maybe we need to step it up there. But what was you talked about your mom was making dinner for guys and having them over on Friday nights, and you're taking guys to coverings. What other stuff is going on that you're finding ways to invest into the employees to give them a better environment, a better culture?
Better culture, better environment. For example, we working. I mean, how my company was like, okay, and it is. I mean, yes, when I was working with them, it was like, hey, I don't stop at 5:00. By me, it was like getting the most of the stuff done. Like, all the guys grinding out there was like, hey, if I can do the prep work and everything done, I have the next day less, right? So for me, it was like this. Yeah, I'm ending up sometimes at 8, 9 o'clock at the customer's house. I'm still working when the customer was okay with. But then it's again, I was there. And, after that, it could happen that we went out for a couple of drinks, because it's like, hey, you were great. You were like thankful to the guys, right? So it's like there was like a connection between. Like I said, I don't treat them as workers. I treat them as friends, but also I took care of them, because on the end, you're in one boat. You're not their boss. It's like they're representing your company. They're representing your work. You want to get it done. And it's like, you you have to give everything, right? This is what I see, because it's not only you, the guy who's is demanding you need this and this done. You have to be there for them, because on the end, it's your company. Yes, unfortunately, the guys are all replaceable, right? I have employees, they're still working with me since 5, 6 years, yeah, or 7, 8 years, but still, I have no problem asking them. It's like, hey, would you come over and do my neighbor's house, for example, or something like that, in the little floor or something like that on the weekend? I need to get it done. There's no problem, because they know exactly that, hey, I pay them. I pay them even more. Sometimes when it took a little bit longer, hey, I give them a little bonus here and there, right? So if they were good, I give them a bonus. Christmas, we give them a bonus. We went for, like, for example, Vegas. Okay, we took them in a steakhouse. Yeah, I mean, it's like, not because I made so much money on them, because this is, again, yes, you made money on them, but it's also, you don't be greedy, because on the end, this guy's working for you. They're working their asses off because they wanted to get it done, and be there for them and help them. Like, sometimes it happened, I had to go on my knees, and even if I was on my Sunday pants, I went on my knees and I helped them, because job needed to get done. Or there was one situation, for example, my guys worked and did a commercial job in Jewel, and we were installing tile, this beautiful commercial, the 6x6 red clay tile.
Okay.
Right, what we're using on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the problem is like, hey, half of the grout was expired. So what are you going to do? You need to get the job done. So I jumped in the van and I drove to a company in Pennsylvania. I don't want to advertise, but everybody knows who's king, right? They say, right? So I drove over there, and they're like, hey, it's Sunday. Yes, I'm coming Monday. I need to pick up the grout. And then I'm leaving, because in the evening, my guys start grouting. They're like, are you insane? I say, I don't care. The guys need to get the job done. I'm driving. I picked the stuff up. I delivered this to the job site. The guys were already waiting with the cars. Everything was done, prepped. And they installed it. I went home, went to bed. Next day when I came to the job site, it was done. It was done, clean, and how it should be,
Well, you're treating people as people, right? They're assets, and you're trusting them to represent your company with good faith, and you're not being a slave driver. And I think that's a lot of what I see is, one, people don't want to relinquish control. We can't trust, as owners of our companies, other people to represent us in the way that we think they should. And yet, if you give them a little freedom to do so, I think oftentimes it's our hang up, not theirs. They'll represent us because they enjoy their job and working for us, especially when you treat them like you are, and you're giving them little benefits. Like, if I have a guy working with me and I'm going to stop to get gas in the morning or pick myself up a breakfast sandwich, I don't care if he picks himself up a breakfast sandwich. Like, I'll pay the extra $5 a day for him to get a breakfast sandwich and a soda. It's $25 a week more for him. Big deal. Like, he's happy now. He's going to go to work and be like, somebody cares about me. They're taking care of me. They go the little bit extra. And if I have to ask him, like, hey man, I need an extra 10 minutes today. Like, do you care? No, right? Like, you're going to get the 10 minutes out of them. You're not going to owe them the money for the 10 minutes. Like, you got to be willing to work with people and give a little, take a little. But I guarantee you, at the end of the year, if you looked at all the times I asked for something in return for all the stuff I gave, it's going to be completely lopsided. And I'm happy to do it, because how much are they doing for me?
Exactly, because they're going every day on your knees. They're going to do all the work for you. I mean, it's like, yeah, they're accountable, so you can trust them. I mean, there were some bad guys between them, yes, but it's if you don't trust, if you don't willing to teach the people and show them how it's done right, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And like you mentioned,
you're gonna have a lot of worries. That's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna sleep at night. You're gonna get disgruntled. you're gonna have even more problems. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like the company I'm working for, you know, it's the same thing. I treat the company, they're really fair to me, really great company. And yeah, but I'm doing this because I love it. It's passion. And I think people getting it. It's because I'm there for them in the industry. I wanted to help them. There's some certain people that came up, wow, you did this for me. I don't expected that. It's like, hey, we one Thai family, okay? We one family. Let's help each other, you know? And that's what I'm trying. I mean, I don't see, okay, there's some competitors out there. I don't see them as competitors. I see them as like, hey, we sitting all in one boat. Why not helping each other, right?
I agree.
So the same like the contractors out there. It's like, hey, I'm there. I take the time, even if my wife is killing me sometimes, and say, hey, why are you on the phone, right? It's Sunday. Yes, I'm doing it because I care. And the motto was Blanke cares, right? So we trying to be there for them. We try to help them and taking the time. It's not like when you're calling someone on the phone and you get reaching, it's not about my business and about them. It's you're reaching a mailbox and you never get a hold of them, or it's like 5 days later or 3 days later, or you have not the feeling that it's like, hey, you know what? I hired the guy, or I'm dealing with a person who really cares. And that's all about it.
Yeah. I'm going to interrupt us for 1 second, and then we'll jump right back into it.
Sure.
The International Surface Event, the annual flooring, stone, and tile sourcing experience in Las Vegas, has a unique experience for the industry. Introducing the Surfaces Show Home, Calibu Vineyard by Jennifer Farrell. Surfaces is working with celebrity design and TV host Jennifer Farrell to develop a 7,300 square foot show home in California. The home is under construction, but due to the technology from Visualizer Plus, the industry can experience virtual room reveals each month. Then plan to view Calibu Vineyard in person or virtually summer 2022 during the home tours. Visit www.calibuvineyard.com now to sign up and join the journey. It's really cool. The ladies designed some cool stuff. I caught the end of one of her talks at Surfaces, and some of the designs and rooms she was showing off were really cool. So check that out. Caring about people, trusting them, getting real connection. I think that's one of the things I use to sell my business personally is you get me, you get Kyle, right? You call or you email, and I'm the one handling it. I'm going to be the guy that comes out and looks over your job, bids it, meets you at the showroom, sells you some material. I'm going to come and I'm going to install it myself. And if for some reason you do have a problem down the road because I made a mistake, you call and you get me. There's no customer service manager. There's no customer service line. There's no any of that stuff to deal with. And I can say that some of my best relationships in this industry have come from me getting to know my local reps, right? I don't have to call the number on the back of the bag anymore. I can pick up the phone and call my local rep that has the same education and get the guy that I know, like, trust, built a relationship with, and he's going to shoot me straight. And I feel much more comfortable than having to call some random person at a 1-800 number. And that's what I want to build. I want to build the company where I can trust my employees to go out and represent the company and live up to the expectations that I've already set with my clients. And so I think being able to trust them and investing in them so that they can have the proper education it's just what this industry needs. We've got to send them to trainings and certifications. We've got to take them to you got to fix your schedule so that you can go to when the manufacturers have a demo day at one of the, supply shops. Pay your guys the couple of hours to go hang out there. Go see the products, get them interested in meeting other contractors and employees around your area, get them, getting to know the local rep so they feel comfortable calling them on the phone. We've got to go and invest back in the people if we want to be able to feel secure with them on the job site, right? Everyone's always, I can't trust them to do anything. Like they're going to screw it up, or they're not going to know how to answer the question, or why do you have employees then? If you can't trust them and walk away, why have them? Just go out and do the job yourself and keep your, like, own a job, not a business, right? If you want to own a business, you got to trust your employees. And so you're doing that right now because you're traveling all over the country, and yet you still have tile installs going on in Chicago.
Yes, that's right.
And you're bidding them. So how?
And not and not only in Chicago. I mean, we're working everywhere, and it's like, yeah. So
I mean, how do you do it? How did you get over that hurdle? Like, how do you just say, all right, they got it? Like, how'd you know they had it? How'd you trust them to have it?
Pretty simple. How can you say it? I'm the owner of the company. Yes, I'm working full time with Blanky, and yes, I'm making sure that the paperwork, even if I'm coming out of the office from my one job to the other one, yes, like you mentioned, I'm traveling everywhere, and I try to be everywhere, but sometimes it's not possible, but we try the best. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm in constant contact with the guys, and I make sure that the invoices are paid, that, they get the material on time. I call. I mean, yes, I have a big help with my family, with my wife, and she's looking overviewing some paperwork sometimes. I'm sending it out. I make the invoices. I make the estimates. I'm writing it myself at night. My wife is always complaining when I'm sleeping. I mean, she's like, where do you got the energy from? It's like, you know what, honey, I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it. And it's all about I don't know, that's something for my son later, right? He can look up to. But no, I mean, where's the will, there's a way, right? And if you come from a background where you were working and working and working, then there's always a way.
But I mean, how did your guys earn your trust for you to know that they can handle it, right? Like I said earlier, right? Guys and gals struggle to give up that control. They think they have to micromanage their employees, or that they have to go and, like, if they leave them on the job site for an hour, they're going to screw up the backsplash and not do something right. So was it training? Was it the fact that you gave them, as they worked with you, you continued to give them a little bit more and more control and decision-making power, and then you built them up to it? Or did you hire somebody that knew what they were doing and you let them do a project and you were just like, well, that's good enough. Like, have fun. I'll see you on the next one. And you let them run with it. And then you went and checked in and corrected things. Like, how did you gain the ability to just be like, okay, run with it?
Okay. How does it work? Pretty simple. For example, I have next week a job, right? Next week, it's a little bathroom floor. And the week right now we're doing in Chicago, we're doing 2 big bathrooms, right? How we doing this? It's I have one guy. He worked a long time for me, and he's overviewing stuff too, right? So when I'm not there, I know 100% he would be going there. He would deliver the material and everything. I mean, I know my suppliers. If there's something missing or needs to be done, I get it done. And he knows where to pick it up. I mean, he worked a long time with me, and I trust him. And also the other guys. I mean, I know right now, for example, I'm going out. Saturday will be the bathroom installed, for example. I'm going to be, for example, in Rhode Island. And I know exactly that this person will be there, and he does a great job. Because, what are you going to do? You have to trust them, right? Because they work so long for you. I mean, everybody has a bad day. And if there's something what goes wrong, then you fix it. You fix it on your own. Because, it's nothing is perfect. Sometimes things happen, but as a good company, you take care of it.
But did it start off that way? Or was it the training you gave them? Or did you work with them and you were like, okay, hey, like, you figure out the layout this time. And then the next time you were like, okay, you figure out the layout and you set it, and you just kind of step back and let them do it? Like, you built them up slowly to be able to handle it? Or did you just kind of like work with them for years and then one day decide like, hey, I'd want you to just go handle Mrs. Smith's job and I'll come check in on you on Wednesday?
Oh, okay. Yine, let's say it. Like I said, when I have a new employee, I train him myself. I want to make sure he can handle things. Like cuts. everybody's OCD with the cuts and how you lay it out and the layout, for example. The most important thing, prep work. What you doing with that? Yes, I require always at the jobs is like, hey, send pictures before, in the middle, and after. Because why? Insurance-wise. Or what if something happened? You have always something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can say, this needed to be done a certain way. Yes, we did. We have the paperwork, we have the pictures, warranty claims, for example, right? If there's something happen, I mean, you have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I trained my guys on the side myself, and it was hard work, but and my 2-3 main guys, and they teach the other ones. And it's again, I trust them, and they're doing a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, right now, some of my guys are working with my father-in-law. My father-in-law has also a company, and he has some guys. It's no problem. We can share them. I can send them over there.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the job, or my father-in-law is overlooking something. For example, if it's a situation where I can't be there, he's there. He can take a look, and it's all about taking care of business and doing it the right way, not cutting corners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It sounds like you have systems and processes in place as a proper business should. So there's checks and balances along the way to hold people accountable, as opposed to just turning them loose. And I think that's where a lot of the mistakes come from is, hey, go do this job. I'll be over there Wednesday to check. Well, now you've missed Monday, Tuesday, and all of Wednesday working, and then you show up and you're just like, oh my gosh, what have you done, right? Whereas had you gotten pictures on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, you'd have known there was a problem somewhere developing already, and you could have stopped it as it progressed.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, this is what I do. Sometimes I'm showing up Monday morning, for example, or in the morning, and then during the end of the day, I'm showing up. I mean, I trust them during the day, or sometimes I'm stopping by during the day. Mm-hmm. It's like if they need something or something like that, just because the customer needs to be feel also that you don't just drop someone off and it's like, hey, do the job. It's like, yes, I trust my guys. I know what they can do. But it's, again, you showing up there in the morning and almost end of the day, the customer sees, hey, you know what? He cares. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. If there's something, I bring it by the material in the morning, or I bring it in the evening, or I'm taking care of some maybe related issues, design issues or layout. If they have a question, hey, for example, hey, Markus, I would lay it this way, but I think this could be could be layout. The layout could be look better this way. We discussed this. If not, FaceTime. God bless, we have FaceTime right now. I remember the days where you don't have FaceTime in anything, but you had to make pictures and everything.
I can only imagine people with pagers and trying to run down the block to the nearest payphone because the client wouldn't let. There's clients that won't let you use their bathrooms. I can only imagine there used to be clients that wouldn't let you use their phone, right? So you're driving down the block to the corner store and having to make a call on the payphone and traveling around with a bunch of quarters. Had to have been it'd just be a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, taking care of each other. The same like with the employees. If you teach them and you show them how the way it works, I mean, yes, there will be always some questions. But it's, again, we try to be there all the time. I have a great family. My family is also reviewing things, like I mentioned before. I'm the owner of the company, and I make sure that the jobs for example, that everything is run smoothly. Yes, my brother-in-law, sometimes he tries out, he take a look at it when I'm not there. Mm-hmm. My father-in-law, I mean, it's like he has his own construction company. If my 2 guys are, let's say, at an emergency, would say, I need someone out here. But it's, again, if I'm here in the near, I'm stopping by too and taking a look, for example, at lunch and, hey, is everything good? And, making sure everything runs smoothly.
I had something and now it's gone. Nope, just gone. So now I have to find a way to fill dead air because we're like a radio show and we can't have that.
Let's see it this way too. It's like we have this guy, right? You interviewed before, for example, Bill Parker, right? He's everywhere, and everybody names him the Everywhere Man. because he's everywhere. He helps people, and it's the same passion what I do. And it's like, yeah, I mean, there's so many companies out there that are like, hey, I'm not coming out because of little install, or hey, I don't care about that, or hey, this should be this way, and you figured it out. It's like, no, I mean, there's some people out there that like, hey, you know what? I take the extra time to show up there to make sure this is the way done the right way, like he does. Or like I know a lot of women installer out there. They're like killing it. They're killing it every day. I mean, seriously. I mean, I was impressed. I had no idea there's so many women out there that are killing it.
Yes,
and they're I mean, their work is fantastic. Like the same Angie Hetworth. I mean, what she does with Mosaic. Oh my God, it's incredible. And I mean, not naming all the names, but it's again, this is the work. We artisans. We not only tie setters. We doing something what is like, it's not 0815 where you can buy on the gas station. You just put it up, right? Like the scribble things, what Ken Balin does, or there's so many people who are doing all this amazing work.
There's so many things going on right now. Just the development, what people are putting out, who's putting it out. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And the fact that there are companies that care, there are companies that want to get behind you and support you. Like, that's what I'm enjoying seeing, is that I'm not, just because I'm not a giant company giving you $2 million in business a year to use your setting materials or products, you're okay coming out even though I'm only going to spend $5,000 with your company in a year. That's amazing. And because you want to make sure it's successful and done right. And there's other companies doing that too. And that's what I like seeing. Is I think the industry is starting to understand that we have to get behind people. And if the industry is getting behind people, we as owners have to get behind our people and invest in them just as heavily as the industry is investing in us. So that's it. A lot of times things should start from the bottom and work their way up. It seems to be that this is going both ways. The bottom is making it work its way up, and the top ranks of the industry are making it work its way down. Because there's a lot of big companies that I see like actively trying to get involved on a individual level with contractors, and I think that's amazing. It's not hey, I'm only going to take care of the supply houses that are buying our product and then selling them to you. It's, I want to know you as an individual and get involved with you. What I wanted to ask was, when you're with your employees, right? You're investing in them. You're you're training them. How often do you force them to get uncomfortable, right? Like maybe it's a skill that they can handle, but they're not quite comfortable doing it yet, and you're just like, no, go, like, off you go, you can do this, go try. Do you push them to get that next skill, that next level up, or are you, obviously you had to train them and show them at some point, right? But at some point, like, the mama bird kicks the little bird out of the nest and makes it fly on its own.
I mean, like you said, if there could always be something, right? If there's something happen, like let's say this one tile, right, what it looks not perfect, right? This OCD situation, for example, and installer had or couldn't do the cut right or the radius right. Okay, then there's no problem. You come out, you take care of it. If not, you take your time, you sit down with him, and then you teach him to do it right better next time. Okay. So if not, you show them all the, I learned a lot too. It's like, I'm not perfect. When I came here to the States, it's like, I had guys who were like, dude, I had no idea about, you could do this way or this way. You learn every day. You never stop learning. And that's the great thing is, with the guys out there, like reps or technicians or however, they have an incredible source what they can help you with, for example, like shower systems or lowering floors, or with waterproofing. I mean, there's so many ways you can learn every day. That's you never actually stop learning. Yeah. And like you mentioned by this guy, if I have a guy, he is uncomfortable with a situation, for example, with flooring, he's not sure how to install it this way or this way, then of course, then someone of us comes out and helps him. Why not? Because if you teach him, if you're there and you help him, the next time he will get it done right. Take your time, invest your time, even if it takes a little bit longer.
Definitely. This makes me think of something. So obviously hanging out in all these online groups, like you've probably seen guys that are like, I would never teach my guys everything, or like just having worked in the States, you've probably been around people with that mentality of like, I'm going to bring on an apprentice, but I'm not going to teach them everything I know and all the little tricks. Whereas I have this feeling that when you went to school in Germany, they taught you everything. Like nothing was held back, because if you had to go to school to be able to learn how to do this, right, they're teaching you everything. And then if you're going to go to school longer to become the master tile setter, then they're teaching you even more. Like it doesn't seem like there's skills being kept hidden. You're being taught everything so that you can go out and be as successful as possible. And that's not what I always see people doing with their employees here. They set them up for failure, but in the same note, if that person continues to work for you, you've set yourself up for failure because you have to hold their hand all the time.
That's a tough question. It's a tough question. I mean, it's like I've seen a lot. But it's again from these people I know and work with. I mean, I cannot really say that. I mean, yes, of course, you teach them this what they knowing. I mean, yeah, also there's some people out there that say, hey, you know what? I know everything. Okay, I don't need to be taught. I had a situation. I had a Thai guy installing for me. He came. Oh, okay, you come from Germany. You master tile setter. Let's go on the floor. Let's see who's the best. And I told him, it's like, hey, listen, we in one company, one boat. We're getting this job done. This is what I need to get done. And you're a new employee for me. And yes, I can be right now on the floor, but I have 6 other guys where I need to get this job done and delivering material. This is a little floor you can do by yourself. This is not about the competition right now. So, yeah, but he was like, oh, yeah, I'm better than you. I said, okay, then unfortunately, if you think you better than me, then this was your last day. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, there's some certain guys that think they're like, hey, I know everything. Okay, then install and show me and see. I'll be there. I'm taking a look. If there's something and he's not listening, he doesn't want to, because you set standards, right? This is your company. The end product has to be look like what you would approve for a customer. If it doesn't, is for your standards and match your standards, you don't deliver a good job. If you don't deliver a good job, you don't get paid. That's pretty simple. And you guys don't get paid. So you have to make sure everything is done right, that they get paid, and everybody's happy. And the customer is happy, because a happy customer is worth the mouth. They give you a lot of work.
Yes. Well, correct. If you don't have happy clients, at the end of the day, you're not going to be working any longer. So that it doesn't make sense. It's not the mentality of withholding information, of not training somebody up to be able to have all the skills, I think needs to just die. If you can't teach someone to be as successful as possible and then put them in a position to succeed so that they can potentially replace you or take over what you're doing, it doesn't make sense. When I was working at UPS, and in very low level management, it was taught to me that I would never be able to go anywhere if I didn't learn my boss's job. And there was the chance, there was probably 40 people that did what I did, and only 6 people that were similar to my boss, right? There was like 6 or 8 of them. And so there was like 40 people under these 6 to 8 people or whatever. Maybe it was like 50 of us. There was way more part-time people, but you were never even going to have the opportunity to move up if you couldn't do your boss's job. And so Why would I not want my employee to be able to replace me? I don't want to be on the floor forever. And look, there's guys that enjoy the floor. Okay, I want to go work in the office. I want to run numbers. I want to meet people. I want to connect. I want to build relationships. That's what I enjoy doing. That's where I want to put my time. There's people that hate the number side of the thing. So why wouldn't you go and try and find somebody that you can train up to handle that part of it so you can hang out on the floor all day and trust them to do it? But it goes back to what we're talking about, right? Like putting people first and actually understanding who they are and what motivates them and what is going to allow them to succeed and make them happy, and then treating them respectfully and investing in them and giving them little extras and just treating them right is going to go a long way in getting people to stick around.
That's correct. I mean, see, the same situation. I mean, even if you're an employee, I'm right now in the same situation, right? I'm an employee by a company. I run my business, but I'm also an employee. The company give me a goal and say, hey, this is what we need to have done. And this is, there's some certain things by end of the year we need to get done. Okay. They have trust. They are totally fair to me, totally great. And they're not micromanagement. There's no micromanagement. There is, we talk things out. I mean, we talk. If there's some questions, we talk. We find solutions. And you love working them for them because you can put your heart into it. The same what I'm doing is like, yes, like another thing is like my wife is like, oh yeah, next week you're flying Friday, Saturday, Sunday out. It's a weekend. Hello. Yeah, I'm loving it. I love it because I do it. Not because I'm getting out of the house, right? I'm getting out of the house and she doesn't see it, right? No, it's like, listen, I can give something back. I learned so much in my life where I say, hey, you know what? I meet maybe someone where I can make his day. I can show him something where it's like, hey, this is maybe a product, or hey, there is a solution for your issue where we can find a solution, right? To make your life easier. And hey, if you have a problem, just call me, I'm there. And that's what I'm loving on my job, And
yeah.
If you love what you do, then you don't work.
Look, man, I got to sit here and run my mouth on a microphone. Like I love this.
You do a pretty good job, man. I can see.
But I like getting this information out there to other people. I knew that I needed it myself. So if I needed it, other people needed it. And it's fun for me to sit here and have these conversations and build relationships with people across all these industries. Everyone knows I'm not a tile setter, and yet here I am holding a conversation with people because at the end of the day, like, business is business, and we can. I don't have to know how to set a tile, do I? Yes, rudimentarily, like on a very basic level, like I understand I have to trowel in one direction on the shorter side. I have to use the right trowel. I can read a box and figure out what I need. Like, I can read instructions and figure it out, but that's not what's important. What's important is that we can sit here and discuss the finer points of how to make a company successful. And if your company can become successful, it can have an influence on other companies in your local area or across the country, and it starts spreading, and that's what's going to matter. And so it's enjoyable for me to sit here and have all these conversations, and I get to play with my camera gear, and like I get to relive kind of what I was doing with reality television. So I've made my own little media company again, which is it's awesome. Does it drive my wife nuts? Yes, it does. But I mean, she gets it. She knows that I'm happy doing it. And we all have issues we got to work through. So we make that happen. But I know that, like, I saw you post, right? Like, you were out to, you took your son out recently. I want to say it was his birthday. Like, you had him out for an occasion, right? And so, like, you're there. You're making it happen when it needs to happen. You're not just jet setting everywhere, running this tile company and teaching people about products all over the place and ignoring all the other responsibilities you have.
Family comes first. Yeah.
Correct. You're there when it matters. And you're there when it doesn't matter, right? You're a phone call away. It's not the same as you being home every night, but you're making it happen. They do matter. You are invested in them. You are giving them the time of day and letting them know, hey, I'm here. And so I think business owners have a tendency to get caught up in everything. And I'll admit that, running a podcast and trying to run an installation business and then sell materials and deliver them, and I'm torn in a million different directions.
I give you credit for that.
My daughter had 3 booths this weekend to sell discount cards for Cub Scouts, though. So I went to all the booths and I sat there and helped her sell, and it was a great time to sit and stop and kind of relax and not be caught up in all of the hustle and bustle of running a business. So sometimes you got to step away. And you gotta make the time. That's what I found. If I'm so on a schedule that if I don't plan things, then I won't make it happen. So I have to plan my downtime. Otherwise I won't take it, because I'm always going to be, I got to on to the next thing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But again, that's why I got off my knees. I got a good offer. I got offers from a couple of companies, but like I said, I wanted to get off my knees. So I started tile installing when I was 10 years old with my parents. But it's again, there's one day enough. Not because I don't like it anymore, because I don't love it. But again, I want to see my son growing up. I was the guy who worked 10, 11 o'clock in a customer's house, or when there was nobody living in there. I'm sometimes worked till midnight, got things done. And then the next day I was 6 a.m. was there and still got it done, It's like, how many times we did this? But again, how long can you do it?
Yeah.
What the question what I got was, what are you going to take with you when you die? You don't take anything. So, the only one thing what is left is your family. If you don't take time for your family, I've seen it a lot from a lot of installers, from certain people. They're like, okay, divorce, because you don't take time for your family, right? You never know your children because you don't take your time for it. With the company Blanky, where I'm working right now with, I have the opportunity. Yes, I'm flying around. Yes, my family helps me out with my business, but still I have 2 guys. They're taking care of it, but still I have less stress. I love what I'm doing, and I'm more home. I'm enjoying more my time with my son and with my wife, where before I got married, I was working my ass off like everybody else. Oh, you know what? Friday, Saturday. What's Saturday, right? Extra money here and extra there. Now, strictly, no. I did before, when I got married, I was like, listen, Friday is my estimate day. I'm not working Friday. I'm working from Monday to Thursday. I'm doing long Thursday, no Friday. Friday's estimate day. And it worked out good, and no more Saturdays. And you have to make a cut,
That's
somehow.
Correct. I drew a hard line on not working weekends. I think I end up working about 2 Saturdays a year, because it's I set my schedule up that at some point something goes sideways on a job, and it ends up being like, well, if I don't work this Saturday, then I'm going to have to call 10 people to move it. So if I'm not able to make it up during the week, you got to make it up at some point. Or, some project gets delayed, but it's fine, and you can move on to the next one, and then 2 weeks later you're over there on a Saturday. But like I said, it happens twice a year. But I had young kids. I didn't want to work Saturdays. That didn't interest me. I made sure that if I see my kids have a camp out for Cub Scouts, I would purposely I either wouldn't schedule a 5-day job that week, or I would let the client know, hey, I can only work 4 days this week. So your project takes 5 days, but I'm going to work Monday through Thursday. I'll be back Monday. My kids have a camp out for the weekend for Cub Scouts. I'm the dad that has to drive the trailer up there. And if I'm going up north, I'm going up north, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not driving up at 7 o'clock at night, getting there at 10 and setting up at 10. I'm going to leave at 10, and I'm going to set up a tent in the middle of the afternoon and enjoy the day. That's not what I want to do. And no one ever complained. No one ever once complained. And that's, most clients had kids, and so they get it. And it's funny. I think people are scared and they think like they're going to get mad that they don't get their house back. Man, it's a floor. It's not the end of the world to live a weekend with no floor. Like, just communicate and be open with people and honest. And you know, sometimes, you know, we're putting people first, and sometimes you have to put your employees first. Sometimes you have to put your family first. Sometimes you put the client first. But at the end of the day, what are you doing all this for if you don't have people to go home to?
Exactly.
What's the point?
I mean, how much more money you can have? I mean, the best thing is like, yeah, you know, when you came here to the States, it's like the best example. You see these big houses, you see this Porsche, Ferrari, and everything, right? And you're like, man, I would love to have that too. But then you're at the point where you're sitting one day at the lake and have your sandwich and eating, and you're like, I'm actually happy. I have everything what I need.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? How much more you can have? There's always, I can have more. But makes this you happy? I don't know. Everybody has to find the answer for yourself. For me, I found a great company. I love what I'm doing. I'm out there and helping everybody where I can, and making everyday new relationships with the people out there. And like I said, it's a strong industry out there, and we should actually stay together and help. And that's what it is, you know. Be there, offering the help. If somebody asks you, I mean, don't be ashamed. Ask, hey, I need help. Can you show me, or can you help me to get this done? Or how can I get this better done? Instead of, in some groups I see, they're like, oh yeah, you know, the bashing people left and right because somebody had a cut wrong. I mean, come on, seriously, you know, let's be together.
Yes. If we can't support each other as we do this, then what are we doing? It's not. Not everyone's your competition, right? And I understand that. Look, Marcus lives in Chicago. I live in Phoenix. They're giant cities. Do we have to look at everyone as competition? No. But even in smaller areas, you don't have to look at everybody as your competition. They are partners. They are people that you can come and work alongside with to make your life easier. You can tackle a larger project if you have someone else to help you get through it, or you can pass on the really big project because you can't meet the deadline for it. What do you want to do? But if you sit there and talk crap about all these people all the time in your area, and you don't build relationships with them, and you hate on them, what do you have? Why do you want to be that guy at the back of the shop with all the other subcontractors talking smack about everybody else and being disgruntled? I didn't really understand it. Like I've said 100,000 times that I'm pessimistic by nature, and I was always the guy that was like finding excuses and coming up with reasons why I couldn't get ahead in life. And until I got in this flooring industry and like changed my mindset, and I sought out people that were where I wanted to be, their mindsets are contagious. And that's now why I'm in the mindset that I'm in, is because I went and surrounded myself with, instead of the people that complain and whine and come up with a million excuses, they're the hope, you know, they hope for things and they dream about things and they push for things, and they're out there making changes because they're putting in the effort to do so. But that mindset was contagious, and it took over my old one, and now I'm stuck in this mindset of like, okay, we can accomplish anything, but we're gonna, you know, it might take us a while. We're gonna have to put in some work, but we can do it. We don't have to have the industry that we had, the industry that people are complaining about, the industry that doesn't get any respect. You may think it's stuck there, but it's not. You just have to take the steps to change it. And you're one person, but when we all start taking those little steps, it's all going to add up and combine. And that's one of the reasons why this podcast is here, is this conversation has to be had. And we're going to have it every week, and slowly but surely people are listening and they're getting on board, and we're going to get it where we need to go. But like I said, you know, you're with Blanky, and like they've given you an opportunity to go and care about people. Bill Parker's out there caring about people. Shannon Huffstickler's out there caring about people. Chris Kane and Heather are out there caring about people. Ken Ballin and Jason McDaniel and Anthony Moses and Luke Miller, all these people, right? They're all, and yes, I'm leaving off tons of names. Don't hate me because I left off your name. There's too many to remember, right? But all these little movements are starting to come together and interact, and I've got things that I'm trying to do locally in Arizona and make the same thing kind of happen in the local community. Like, someone has to go be the spark. So stop complaining about it. Get off your butt and go be the spark. You may not want to do it, but go do it and hope that somebody takes over for you as it grows.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, don't see everybody as a competitor. I mean, it's like here in Chicago too, of course, we have a lot of tie setters. You know, I made a lot of friends with tie setters, you know, with different companies. It's like, I don't never seen them as, how you say it, competition. It's like, okay, I'm happy if they get the job. Okay, then it was not meant to be for me. But, you know, this was my price. This is what I would like to get. Maybe there was the other guy, he offered a different service or want to get it differently done for them. Okay, then it was not meant to be. Yeah. Then be my guest, you know, have it. And if you need help, let me know, you know. I mean, maybe if there's some questions, ask me anytime. I mean, we in the same boat. The same like with, there's so many vendors out there, right? Yeah, like you mentioned, right? I mean, yes, we all do something for the industry, okay? And the best thing is like people seen it at coverings, at surfaces, where we become all together, one piece, one place, where it's like, hey, I don't care if I work for this company or I'm working for this company. There's one person I told her, it's like, she's like my sister, okay? I don't want to name the name, but she knows who I'm talking about. And it's like, you know, I knew her before I started by the company, and it changed nothing. It's changed nothing. We all friends out there. Yeah. The same like, if is someone for the green guys, for the orange guys, for the blue guys, for whoever, right? It's like, I mean, we all sitting together in a bar later, having a drink and have fun. It's all about talking and being together. I mean, why not helping each other? I mean, there's some people out there, they're getting in this business and they're like, hey, you know what? I talk behind this guy and this guy back, bad stuff, behind him, right? Why should, or make him bad in front of other people? Why? It's like, okay, just be neutral. Do what you do, and be the best of what you do. You know? So you can, when you went out, for example, appointments, if it's an estimate or if it's a conversation, a training, or whatever it is, that you are actually give all the information out, that you, like a contractor, that you sold yourself to the customer, you know, that you give him all the information, everything what he needed to know, he has all the options there. If you explain this all there, then if he says later, no, it's not meant to be. If it's yes, congratulations, you got the job. And sometimes it's better to say no than yes. Oh. And many people cannot do this, trust me.
That is a whole other skill that needs to be learned, is the art of no. I got a buddy that I went to film school with, and he could not say no to anyone. And it was like, it became me teaching him at like, dude, say no, even to me. I would ask him, and I knew he would be swamped. I'd be like, hey man, I really don't want to edit this project. Can you edit this together for me? I know you're swamped, but can you get this done by Friday? Yeah, I'll do that. Dude, just tell me no. Just say no. So that's a very important skill too, is the art of no. That's actually, I should find someone that's really good at it, make an episode about that. Markus, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
You can ask me anything, man. You can always call, you know, I care. So call me. I always there for you if you have any questions. So anything, you know how to reach me. The same like if everybody else is out there at coverings. Let's have a great time. Stop by at our booth. Stop by at anyone. If you see me walking around, say hi. You know, just, you see Kyle running around with a mic, right? Tell me, hey, Kyle, man, I love you. You're a great guy. You have a great show. Just be yourself, you know?
Yep. No, I will be there. If you're at coverings, I will be running around, and I'll actually not be. I got a podcast on Wednesday to do, and that's all I'm doing for the show. So I will be much more relaxed than I was at Surfaces this past time. Maybe I put together another podcast that I just kind of record as I walk around, but I think I'm going to just try and enjoy the show and actually like experience the show. So that would be nice. It'd be a little bit different. If people want to reach out to you, how can they find you? How can they reach you?
Pretty simple. Facebook. Mm-hmm. If not, PM me. I send you my phone number. My phone number, it's actually known. If not, Blanke Corp. You find it there, or as my company, Rudy Stein Design, you have my number there. I mean, if you want to reach me, you know how to find me, right?
There you go. All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us, folks. We're gonna wrap it up there. Go ahead, check out the shop. Go to flooracademypod.com. Click on store or shop. I don't remember which one it is. It's warming up. Get yourself a t-shirt, a tank top. I think I can make sandals. Maybe I throw some sandals up on there. Get yourself some sandals. Go to the beach and enjoy yourself in some Floor Academy sandals. Let me make those and put those up on the shop. That'll be fun. Coverings is coming up. Get a fanny pack. We got fanny packs on there. That'd be super sweet. I want to see you with a water bottle in your fanny pack hydrating, because we don't do that enough in the desert. And let a friend know for me. Do me a favor. Let a friend know about the show that's in the industry. When you're sitting at the supply house, tell somebody about Floor Academy and what it's done for your business. Let's help get this message out there to more people and get them learning while they earn, so that they can run better and more successful businesses. Markus, once again, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, your valuable insights, the story that you shared with us, and I look forward to talking with you again in the future.